All right, we'll see if we fit right here. All right. My name's Billy Dooley, and with Coach Dooley's List, and I am here with a buddy of mine, Coach Erick Willis. He's the head basketball coach at North Oconee High School. Coach, thank you for having us today.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I appreciate it.
So, my little humble office.
It is awesome.
It's cozy.
Share it with one of my former players, who Coach Foote. She said she will not be interviewing, but I'm going to get her next.
She's kind of low key.
Yeah, well, we're about to show her off to the world.
Okay.
So, Coach, I always start by asking Coach, just tell us a little bit about your coaching journey. You know, where you started, how you ended up here.
So let's see, graduated from UCF, University of Central Florida. Did some coaching down there at Lake Highland Prep, which is a cool school right in the middle of Orlando. You would think, no, that's not cool, be in the middle of Orlando. Orlando's a cool place with the lakes and Disney. All that stuff. Well, Disney's in, no, not Disney. Definitely not Disney. But anyways, downtown Orlando, got my start there with a guy by the name of Dennis Cox. Dennis then came to Clayton State right after we made a good playoff run down there and won a national championship at Clayton State. So, you know, I had some great, as a 21, 22-year-old kid, you know, had a great mentor there. And then came to Tift County, played high school football with Coach Gene Brody and his staff, and he hired me to coach basketball and football. So did that, did it for a short time, then got in the turf business for about 15 years and got out got back in education in 05, 06. So had some great guys at Tift County I worked with, though, Emmett Bowers, Tommy Blackshear, Julie Connor, won a couple boys state championships while involved with them, and then made some good runs in girls basketball when I came back into it in 6, 7, 8, 9, and here I am. You know, been here 10 years now. Gave up the football, got out of the sun, which was a good thing.
To try to recruit you for softball.
Yeah, my dermatologist said, yeah, you probably need to get out of the sun. So, you know, a lot of years of growing up in Florida. And so, anyway, got in the gym, and that's all I do now, and I freaking love it.
Well, and I've always loved coming and watching, you know, whenever, you know, we always had a lot of softball players that would play, and I'd love to come sit behind the bench and just listen to you work. And it's always cool to listen to coaches in different sports and how they interact with their kids and things. And so, you know, in all the years, you know, watching, you know, and if anybody was ever going to ask you, like, what do you want your program to be known for? Whether a parent who you coached a kid for 4 years or you played another team, like, what's North Oconee basketball known for?
You know, if I had to say in just one word, classy. You know, we like to do things right. So I keep it very simple with the girls is, look, we want to do the right thing. You know, I'm not a big rule guy, so we just want to do the right thing. We want to give 100% in everything we do, and we want to be respectful. And that covers, you know, there's a lot of gray area in life, but that covers most of it right there. So, you know, whether we're winning or losing, we won't always be respectful to our opponent. And doing the right thing, you know, that means in the classroom, at home, on the court. And that goes to making the right read on the court. You know, so you would think, do the right thing. What does that mean? Well, you know, don't do drugs, don't drink, you know, all that stuff. No, it means making the right read on the court. Is your friend open? Give her the ball, you know. So it encompasses a lot of things, and we keep it simple.
Oh, absolutely. And look, when you're doing right, can't be wrong. What's your favorite, you know, thinking back over the years, even going back to Tift or in Florida or anything, what's one of your favorite coaching stories? You know, what pops into your mind is just a great memory.
Well, you know, you don't remember you remember the funny things or the bad things. So the funny bad one would be coaching football. Let's see, I was coaching high school basketball and middle school football at Tift. Well, I was an 8th grade football coach. All right, we go over to Colquitt County, and that was when Rush Propst was rolling down there, so it was a big war. So we take the 8th graders over there, and my buddy, Jimmy Whitfield, who ended up in Madison County, is their head coach, okay? And we're both fairly young guys. We had beaten them badly the year before, and they were kicking us pretty good at their place. And they had a running back that was just rolling all over us. And it was late in the game, like, hey, Whitfield, can you take that guy out? That would be awesome. You're up 30, okay? But we had such battles, there was not going to be any doubt left when the game's over. So I probably scream across, hey, Whitfield, take 22 out of the game. Take 22 out of the game. What? Take 22 out of the game. Okay. Yeah, these are good friends talking to each other. So maybe a minute later, sheriff's deputy comes down the sideline and says, Coach, you got to get out of here. I said, okay, what are we doing? He said, you got to go. You can't act like that. I said, well, I'm not leaving. He said,
and that's all you said.
That's all I said.
22.
That's all I said. You'll get it. You got to go, and you got to go right now. Either handcuffs or you're going to walk out with me. I said, I think I'll walk out with you. So off we go, Colquitt County sideline. I go to the bus. I'm driving the bus, so I'm sitting in the bus in the driver's seat, waiting on my team to finish. We finish. We get our butt kicked pretty good. Go home. I call over there. I said, Whitfield, what in the world did that guy think I was doing? He said, he thought you were shooting double birds at me. Yeah, don't act like that. Okay, so basically arrested on the sideline for giving the old 22 up there.
Well, I guess that leads into the next question. You always ask coaches for, what advice would you give? And I guess the first piece would be is don't shoot birds on the field.
Don't shoot birds. Make sure 22 is very clear. Yeah.
And, you've been in it a while. You've coached a couple sports. If you had an assistant coach come to you or maybe former player or anybody and said, Coach,
and I do a lot. So, when you get old like me, you get a few. You get a lot of people come back to Coach. I want to coach. I said, all right. How much do you want to do laundry? How much do you want to talk to parents? How much do you want to, deal with the psychology of an athlete? How much data entry do you like to do? Because that's what it's come to lately is like we're constantly entering something. Like for the past few weeks, I've been entering camp info for summer camps. So, what it all boils down to is it's probably about, I used to say 30% coaching, 70% everything else.
I was about to ask you a percentage.
Yeah, now we're probably at like 20%, really, because, and you would say red tape, but it's things you have to do, in the CYA world that we live in. You got to cover your bases. So anyway, are you up to do all that? Because if you're not, then being a head coach is not for you. You could get away with being an assistant coach and walk out there and coach and go home. It's not a bad gig.
No, it's not. But too, if you're having a good program, you also have assistant coaches who are doing a lot of stuff. And I do think, and that's the kind of advice that I keep getting from coaches too, is that you got to be prepared to do a lot more than you ever realized was going on when you were a player or even assistant coach. So, I appreciate
and I lean hard. I lean hard on our assistant coaches here in the building. They're very, they can do Canva. They can make social media posts, which it's a big part of what we do now.
It's a whole other job.
Sure. Yeah. It's a whole other job. So I don't deal with that. So if you delegate very well to people's strengths,
yes,
it helps a bunch.
Yeah. I've always thought too, like you've got your coaches that you think might want to do something, but if it's not in their comfort zone, then it's not going to, you find something they're good at too. And then they're going to enjoy it,
exactly.
So absolutely. So,
and I'm very fortunate. I will say I'm very fortunate with assistant coaches here. It's a struggle nowadays to find people that want to do it. You want to say, I'd love to have a great assistant coach, but you got to start off with just somebody that wants to do it. And then hope they're great. And I've got both. Thank God.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, one of the biggest things for Coach Dooley's list is connecting coaches with vendors. My goal is trying to make their lives easier so they don't have to search around. So, who's if you got a vendor shout out, somebody you work with a lot that you enjoy, it's easy.
I drank the Nike Kool-Aid when I was growing up in the 70s. So I had the original waffle running shoes.
They were around before Jordan.
Yeah, just a little bit. after my Chuck Taylors. I gave up the Chuck Taylors.
Oh, yes.
I gave up the Chuck Taylors for the Nikes. So I jumped from Converse to Nike, and I've been a Nike guy ever since. And so anyway, BSN handles that. Jody Tanner, they do a fabulous job, and I order a lot of Nike gear from them every year. And I appreciate what they do for us.
Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day at the end of the,
Thanks for coming
by. School
by.
year. Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you,
I
sir.
love to talk, especially with good old coaches like yourself.
Well, we'll be back then.
All right, buddy.